So I was like, oh my god, we're gonna die. I was scared about what's happening. And I was like, what do you mean? Oh my god, it's wrong. This is not okay. It shook me for sure. It's just Hi guys, I'm Mar, and today's video is gonna be a little story time. There's actually a story I've never told anybody. I've never even mentioned it on my Spanish channel, which I feel like that's where I tell a lot of my stories, because I've had that channel for a long time. So I've just told the stories as they've happened. But this one actually happened a little while ago, and there's a reason why I wanted to keep it kind of private. But I saw James Charles going through something similar. I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it, just to explain everything to you guys, because I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard to understand, and then it was like pretty crazy. So it's just, I felt like it would be cool to just hang out, chill, you know, drink some water. But I'm also gonna be sister spilling all the tea. But anyway, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to my channel by clicking down there. Don't forget to also tap that little notification bell to join Club Mar. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday at the very least, so definitely want to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the new video awesomeness. But yeah guys, okay, let's get started. Alright guys, so this happened maybe 3 years ago, so it's already been a while, but it kind of shook me to a point where I still, like, I live my life a certain way because of that. So we were living in San Francisco, and we were only in San Francisco for a little while. We were there for Gordo's work, and you know, he's like in tech, so San Francisco was like the place he had to be at the time, but we knew we weren't be there for too long because he wasn't based in San Francisco. So when we moved to San Francisco, it was actually a really hard time for me personally, because we had to stay in this apartment that we got like very last minute, and there were like roaches in the apartment, and it was just like really hard, and I was just like trying to do my videos, but then we didn't have like any AC, and it was always hot. It was just not a nice time. But it's weird because like a lot of kind of bad things happened, but I also remember that place in a very positive way. So I guess also something I didn't realize while I was living there was that I had a stalker. I feel kind of bad saying like, oh, this person was a stalker, but they were stalkers. And I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit hard when it's your follower, because it's somebody that you want to meet and you want to love, but also there's kind of like certain, I don't know how to call them boundaries, but there's just some things like, you know, going to somebody's house just because. I don't even do that to my friends. I want to just show up to their house and be like, I don't really understand the logic behind doing that to people you follow on the internet and people that you love and they love you back, but still I feel like you just don't do that. Even to like your family and friends, you just don't show up like in the middle of the night, which is what happened to me. But yeah, we were in our apartment at the time, and I remember this vividly. It was Sunday night. It was like 9:30ish, so it was like late on the Sunday night, and all of a sudden I hear a knock on the door. Remember, I didn't really know anybody there because we had just been living there for a few months, and the people I knew didn't like live close to me. I didn't know my neighbors, so I was like, who could be knocking on my door? So I hear a knock, and I remember we were like in bed watching Netflix, and then with that knock we were like, oh my god, what's happening? So we're just like, you know, just ignore it, maybe somebody's confused, they'll go away. But no, we ignored it, and they kept knocking, like knocking for a good 5 minutes. So I was like, oh my god, this person keeps knocking on our door, like they know we're here. It's not like you could see light from underneath the door, because that was the living room, and we didn't have any lights on in the living room. So I was like, how do they know we're here? I mean, who is this person? So the person kept knocking. At this point, I was like in full panic mode. I was like, maybe somebody's gonna try to come in. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I'm here, like basically here all alone. So I had my phone, I had it set to 911, and I just had it ready to like call if something happened, you know? Because I was like, if somebody comes in, like at least they'll have like a voice recording or something, you know? So the person kept knocking on the door, and Gordo was like, you know what? I'm gonna go see, because we had like one of those little, you know, things you could see through the door. So he went. I mean, it was like such a tense moment, because we're just like, we didn't want to move because we just wanted them to go away, you know? We didn't want them to realize that there was actually somebody home, you know, for them to keep knocking. So Gordo got up, and he was moving so slowly. Like, she wasn't knocking like, but she was knocking like, she'll wait a little bit and then knock again, you know? So Gordo was like walking really slowly, but so slowly, because we were like, we don't want her to, well, we didn't know it was a woman at the time, but we didn't want the person to realize that we were there. And I was so scared, because I was like, what if he opens the door and like somebody shoots? I don't know, guys. I'm from Venezuela, you know, that happens. It's normal. So I was like, oh my god, we're gonna die. I survived Venezuela, I'm gonna die in San Francisco. So Gordo goes up to the door, and he looks through the little hole. I have no idea if the person saw that somebody looked through the hole. I don't know. But he comes back and he tells me, it's a woman. She has something in her hand, and she's wearing glasses. She had like a notebook in her hand. So I was like, oh, maybe they're just trying to take like a, I don't know, a survey or something. So I was like, I'm not gonna answer the door. She'll go away eventually. That's what I just figured, that she wanted to like, I don't get some information on the building. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, we don't really live here. So I was just like, she'll go away. So we waited for a little bit, and this person wasn't going away. All of a sudden, we start hearing like this little like sound and it's under the door. And I was like, oh my God. I was scared, you know, because it's just like, it's somebody showing up randomly, doing stuff to your door. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? So we just start hearing that little sound and we weren't sure what was happening because we couldn't see. We were just in our room because our room was like to the other side. So we were like, we're just sitting quiet here so she'll think nobody's home. So after a while, everything was quiet. So it was like she left. So we went outside and we realized that she had left a note. So that's what the sound was on the door. It was like just like her trying to like squish the note through the door. It wasn't anything dangerous. And honestly, that's the thing. I feel like I was never upset at them. It's hard because I haven't told you the full story, but I was never really upset because I was like, I know they didn't have like bad intentions, but it's still not okay to do this. So Gordo got the note and he was like, it's for you. And he just says that. He's like, it's for you. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Oh my God. So the note was very sweet. It was like, oh, hi Mar, we wanted to meet you. We know you live here. So we just wanted to stop by and say hi. And she left her phone number. So at that time I got really scared because I was like, how does she like know I live there, you know? So I hadn't been there for that long. So I was just thinking like, oh gosh, no. I mean, how does she know? I was wondering like if it was something that I had done, if it was something that I had said on the video. Because before we were living there, we lived in Pittsburgh. Well, we lived in Pittsburgh after that too. And I had issues with me putting up my Christmas tree by the window because I showed that my Christmas tree was by the window and then people would send me pictures of my window and be like, I know where you live because your Christmas tree is by the window. So, but Pittsburgh was a pretty small town and now I know that I messed that up with a Christmas tree. But it's kind of sad because, you know, I love my Christmas tree by the window and I want to share it with you guys because I love you guys. I want to share so much. But then like, stuff like that happens when people don't realize that it could be scary because you don't really know. I mean, maybe the person that's showing up to your house knows that they have the best intentions, but you don't know. Imagine you're just home chilling. Somebody shows up Sunday 9:30 p.m. What you gonna think? You're not gonna be like, oh yes, please come in. Oh my God, would you like a cup of tea? So since I had the phone number, I mean, I think I was very, I don't know, naive. I handled it in a weird way, but my main channel, which is like now like at 11 million, it wasn't even at 1 million at that time. So to me, it was just like, oh my God, it's a follower. I love her. And that's still how I feel. But now that things like this have happened, I'm like, okay, no, I know that if something like that happens, you're not supposed to reply. And that's probably why James was like, no, I'm not gonna take pictures with people coming up to my house because then that just encourages people going to his house. It's a really tough spot to be in, to be honest, you guys. But at the time I was like, I'm gonna reply to this. So I downloaded this messaging app. I don't know what kind of logic that was. I was like, they know where I live, but I don't want them to have my phone number. So I downloaded this messaging app that kind of gave you like a fake phone number, just like a temporary phone number. And I was texting them through this app. So I texted the girl. I was like, hi, it's me, you know, like I wanted to know how you found my apartment because I was scared that more people might be able to show up. So she was very nice, but she was like, no, I just want to meet you and my little sister wants to meet you. So please, let's meet up and I'll tell you everything. So I'll admit I was really curious and probably guys, don't do this. I mean, if a stranger shows up to your house in the middle of the night, leaves their phone number, you do not go and meet with them. That's just not something you do, especially not by yourself. But to me, also, it wasn't a stranger. It was like an amorcito, you know, it's like one of you guys. But the thing is, I know that logic is kind of flawed because you can't really control and you don't really know. So you have to be safe. But whatever, I'm just telling you guys what I did. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's meet up. I would love to meet you, you know. I wanted to meet these people and also I wanted to know how they got my address and how they were like so sure I lived there, like sure enough to be there late at night and waiting for me to open the door. Like, no, yeah, she does live here. So we met up at the mall, which was pretty close by. I went like a public place. I went, you know, to be cool. The girl had texted me and she had said that her little sister was so excited and that she was so excited. So at this time, I wasn't looking at them like stalkers and I still really don't. I know technically yes, but it's hard, you know, because I met them and they were like the sweetest people, but I'll tell you all about it. So I showed up at the mall and I was kind of walking around and then I see this girl and she must have been like maybe like her early 20s, and her little sister who was like a teenager and their mom. And they were all like so cute. They were all dressed up. They were all like wearing perfume. And I was like, oh my God, I look like a mess. I just showed up there like hang out and meet them. To them, this was kind of like a special moment, I guess. And I was very flattered, honestly, because I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But at the same time, I was like, you don't just show up at people's houses at 9:30 on a Sunday without being invited, and especially if they didn't give you the address. So I took some makeup and stuff like that, and so I gave him like a little present, and then we just sat down at Starbucks. And at Starbucks, Gordo was there when we were at Starbucks, and he bought us like drinks, and I remember he bought like a little cookie for the little girl. It was so cute, you know? So when we were at Starbucks, I was like talking to them, and they were telling me about their lives. It was honestly a really nice experience for me to have, but I just kind of wish it would have happened under different circumstances, you know? So when we were at Starbucks, I was like, okay, I really needed to to know. I need to know how you found my house, how you found my address, because this is great. It was like some amazing girls, but the same way that these amazing girls found my house, maybe somebody that's really mean could do it. But guys, please do not show up at people's houses like that. It's wrong. And I know maybe what you're getting from the story is like,
oh my god, maybe they'll like end up meeting with me and going to Starbucks, like the person I like.
I don't know, like maybe I show up at Blake Lively's house and she's gonna come get some Starbucks with me. That's really probably not gonna happen. And they're probably just gonna be scared and upset, and I know that's not what any of you guys mean to do to anybody. I mean, if I showed up at Blake Lively's house, I wouldn't be meaning to scare her.
I would just be like, hey Blake.
But anyway, so they told me the story, and what really kind of freaked me out, or what I found weird, was the mom was telling me the story along with like the older sister. They were like so proud of what they had done. So there were basically two adults here and the little girl, and nobody thought to think this is not okay. They were just straight up proud of what they had done, and they were like, yes, I mean, my child, she got a future.
Which honestly she does. I mean, private investigation, probably her thing.
So guys, I'm gonna tell you exactly how they found me. I don't think you'll be able to find me this way again, because I just like, now I'm scared. So at the time I was doing daily vlogging because I was just alone, you know, so I just had you guys to hang out with. So I was doing daily vlogs, and these girls, both the little sister and the older sister, were followers of that daily vlog. So they saw that one day I was like on the street, and the street looked really similar to a street they knew because one of their friends lived close by. So they were like, okay, she like hangs out around here. So after that, they saw that I was driving a red car, and I'm seriously, I never want a red car after this. So they saw that I was driving a red car, so they were like, okay, we're gonna scout out like this whole location looking for red cars. So they said they got on their bikes, and they would do this for days. They would like drive around on their bikes to see where they could find a red car that looked similar to the one I had. I never showed the car because it was just like whatever, but you could kind of see what type of car it was. So they kept going around in their bikes just trying to find this red car. Eventually they found a red car that they thought was my car, but they had no idea if it was my car or not. So what they did, you guys, this is crazy. So from my video, one day I was doing my laundry, and we didn't have laundry inside the apartment, but it was like right across from where my apartment was, from like my door. So I said that, I was like, oh my god, like the laundry is right across from me, you know, but I'm just gonna go get my laundry. So they saw this, and they were like, okay, let's figure out if this red car is parked close to like an entry that has a laundry. And they had also seen me riding the elevator, so they knew that I wasn't like on the bottom level, that I was like, I think there were like 3 stories there, so I was like in the 2nd or 3rd story. So they knew all of these things, like grabbing little details from my videos, like things you would like just not even mention, like get on the elevator. That's not something you mentioned. Maybe you're vlogging inside the elevator, but it's just something you do. It's not something you realize that you're putting so much information out there. So based on the car, they looked for like the building entrance, and they went up the stairs and saw that there was definitely a laundry room there. So they were like, it has to be either this one, like this apartment, or the one above it. It's like, it has to be that one. Because that building didn't really have security. I mean, it's not like it had gates to get in and out of the building. It just had like a door for your apartment. That was it. So that's how they found my apartment. And I'm not sure if they left notes on like both of the apartments that they thought were possible, because she was like very sure my apartment was this one. So I don't know if there was oh yes, there was another detail. The balcony. So I had a balcony, and you could see I was on the top floor, so you could see that there was like nothing over me. So she was like, okay, because of the balcony, we knew what apartment it was. So I mean, honestly, these girls did great detective work, and their mom was so proud of them for that. She was like,
yeah, they would ride around on their bikes every day trying to find you.
and I was like, it's sweet, but it's really not okay. And again, these girls were the sweetest in the world and had the best intentions, but this is something you really can't do. And if they're watching this, girls, I'm so happy I met you, but really, this was not the way to do it. So we're at the Starbucks. I remember the older girl worked at IHOP, and she invited me to go, you know, during one of her shifts. We never ended up going, but honestly, it's not because I was freaked out or anything like that, because when I met them, I mean, they didn't mean any harm, so I didn't feel like I was in danger at all, and I wasn't mad at all. It shook me for sure. And I think a lot of people realized that my vlogging changed a little after then, especially when I went back to Pittsburgh, especially when I moved here to LA, because I feel like I can't really show a lot because I don't know what I'm showing, like the elevator and the balcony. That will just give out information that could potentially be unsafe for us. So I know with those vlogs, a lot of my followers were like, oh, you've changed, but they never knew the story, and they never knew like, yeah, I kind of changed because I was so scared after that happened. I was just like, I need to be really careful and try not to show a lot of stuff. So when you're vlogging and you can't show stuff, it sucks, because I want to show this stuff, you know? But yeah, you guys, that was the story of my first stalker. I've had others since. It's not nice. It just makes you feel really scared. It just sucks. I can tell you guys these stories. Usually I'll just keep them very private because for different reasons. For example, like for this case, I just didn't want the girls to feel bad because I mean, they were so sweet and I just never talked about it. I was like, you know, I don't want to give anybody ideas like, oh, you can look for a red car. But others, I've just been genuinely scared, and it's something I really don't wish on anybody. Having a stalker is a scary, scary thing. But yeah, guys, it definitely taught me a lesson because the building we moved to after here in LA, it's so hard to get in and out of, like for me, and people that deliver packages, they basically hate me because it's the most difficult building in the world. It's so complicated. It's a really complicated building. That gives me like almost like a peace of mind, and it's just, I feel good, and I try not to show too much. But yeah, it definitely taught me a lesson, and just from the things that they said, I try to change the stuff I was doing so it wouldn't happen again. Some other things happened, but not like this. I could tell you guys another day. I just wanted to make this video to tell you guys like what happened to me, and if you're thinking of going to somebody's house, just don't. Just stop. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this little story time. If you guys have stories similar to this that you want to tell me about, I would love to read. I would love to know your experiences. You guys know I'm always super active. I'm always leaving little hearts. I'm always replying to the comments. So leave a comment. I would love to know. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so, so much. I will leave another cool video right here for you guys to go check out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next one. Bye.